Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nurul Izabedi Zamri and I am going to give a speech for today about how to prepare and survive a food crisis. So, my specific purpose of my speech about to persuade my audience to prepare and survive food crisis so they will be more prepared and get ready in a situation that is not too chaotic, and my speech about problem, cause and solution order. According to an article published in Utusan Malaysia, the issue of food supply arose because of the COVID-19 pandemic, halting agricultural activity and restricting food export by producers who prioritized the needs of their individual countries. The situation exacerbated when the Russian-Ukraine war put pressure on global supply networks. Inflation is a global phenomenon that most countries are experiencing because of disruption in the food supply chain. Our globe has recently been plagued by a food crisis. This issue becoming more serious, particularly for emerging countries like Malaysia. This is due to the fact that the crisis has had a variety of negative consequences for the country and society. The global market has fallen in recent weeks, not just in Malaysia. Many countries, including the United States, have lost close to 20% of their value. All of this was triggered by the coronavirus pandemic, which resulted in a reduction in oil prices. Along with shelter and clothes, food is one of the most fundamental human requirements. As a result, the food crisis is not a minor problem that can be ignored. Worryingly, the world's current food crisis includes the availability of staple foods such as rice, wheat, cereals, and corn, which are essential to everyone on the planet's survival. Imagine the situation if you found no more rice or flour on the shelf of grocery stores and even supermarkets, as Malaysia did in 2007 when the supply of sugar and cooking oil in the market ran out. Although Malaysia has not yet been severely affected by this phenomenon, based on the global economic trend, is it not unthinkable that it will strike our country if we are negligent? As a result, people awareness in the successful process of resolving this food crisis should begin today. So, what do we need to do to ensure food supply and survival in the event of a food crisis? There are important of these. First, make yourself more prepared for any situation. According to food crisis, we are sure of the occurrence of certain situation. Be prepared. We always keep your kitchen stocked. Prepare for the season. Keep an ice contact, which is in case of emergency. For example, you can choose food that will last without refrigeration for at least 6 months, such as canned, dry, and preserved or non-perishable food. Ensure you have some food that are ready to eat or only need to be heated up without adding water. This will ensure you are prepared in case of food crisis. When buying cans, do not automatically buy the biggest size, thinking this is a better value. Buy larger cans only if you are catering for a big group of people. Next, prepare a first aid kit. A first aid pack allows you to treat minor cuts and burns while also assisting you in managing more serious situations such as shattered bones and heart attack until help arrives. Want the kit to be conveniently available in case of an emergency? Keep one first aid kit in a convenient position in your home, out of reach of your children. Secondly, not to forget and panic. As we all know, many of us have a habit of doing something that makes us nervous. We may face this with calmness if we are not too hazy. A hectic situation is one that is extremely busy and includes a great deal of rushing. When we are overly pressed about something, we will slow down our efforts. Indirectly, the situation will deteriorate, making our life more difficult. So, we need to calm. Third, we are capable of surviving. Is it a question of life and death? It is about learning how to make the best judgment in each situation and making our life safer and more comfortable. We become better equipped to to meet the different threats that can befall us at any time by acquiring survival skill. Furthermore, we live in disaster-prone location where survival science will be critical in the post-disaster era. Learning the science of survival is beneficial not only for surviving but also for self-development to become a better person. I want to show you guys the statistic. Reason why I am credible enough to talk about this topic because I am also one of those people who does not care about this directly. When I was working as a cashier at one of the local mini market, I noticed this. This is because most commodity prices have risen and cooking oil is becoming increasingly difficult to buy and limited to customers. The cost of raw goods such as chicken has risen dramatically and poultry supply has become scarce. Many people believe that there will be a food crisis because of this. Then, to learn more about the food problem in Malaysia and around the world, I read numerous articles by studies by various specialists. Okay, let me explain first the first main point of my speech about Malaysia food crisis which affect most of the people. Malaysia is the world's second largest supply of palm oil behind Indonesia, which has compounded the country's battle for self-sufficiency by diverting land for staple crops like rice to plantation. According to a 2019 breakdown, Malaysia generated only 46% of its vegetable, 70% of its rice, 61% of its fruits, and 25% of its meat in that year. Import restoration and the issue of AP approve a permit to import are a key part of the problem. There is also issue of monopolies and cartels which further restrain the home market by hurting staples items like rice and sugar and driving up costs. Most of the issues stem from import laws and approval. Of course, we must regulate quality, health, and safety, but shifting supply and prices necessitate opening the food market. Malaysia's shortcomings were exposed during the COVID-19 pandemic 2 years ago when the food supply chain was disrupted. The second main point is conflicts, wars, and violence impact food production and supplies. Conflicts, wars, and other forms of violence have an impact on food production in this direction. Plundering an enemy's food supply is possible, as it deliberately destroys farms, cattle, and other civilian infrastructure. Food shortage and substantial disruption in economic activity can result from conflict, putting entire population survival at risk. Food insecurity is very high in most nations that have experienced civil war throughout the year. Somalia and South Sudan are two African examples. Syria's agricultural productivity, for example, has been negatively impacted by the fighting. According to the report released by the FAO in October 2018, 5.5 million Syrians are food insecure with the violence playing a role. Even when the violence has stopped, conflict-related food shortage can lead to years of food shortage. The third main point is reduce food waste. Food waste is defined as food that is lost between the point of sale and the point of consumption. Food waste is limited to food intended for human consumption. Food for human consumption that has been removed from the human food chain is also included. There are the foods that are thrown away even though they are still edible. According to statistics, 1/3 of all food produce is waste from production to consumption. Inefficient preparation, uneven or terrible roads, over-selective client, and inadequate storage facilities are the main causes of food waste. Less food will be waste if storage facilities are upgraded and proper preparation for how the food will be consumed, resulting in a more food-secure community. Waste is growing global concern that is hurting the Earth's physical health as well as the population that live on it. It is not easy to figure out how to get out of this mess. To overcome this issue, several agencies must make sacrifices and work together. In conclusion, the government and the people are concerned about the food scarcity situation. This is because the crisis is wreaking havoc on our country's economy and social fabric. Rice is vital to human life and the economy of our country. As a result, the food scarcity situation must be addressed collaboratively for the greater good. As a result, as humans, we must be more prepared in any situation. This is how you prepare and survive a food crisis with solution that I provided. Let's start being prepared in any situation. The activity or process of preparing something for use or service, or of preparing for a specific event, task, or job. Food shortage, which were once local and exclusively associated with the third world country, are now becoming more chronic as the global market price of food supply has climbed, threatening a broader global impact, especially on rich countries. In essence, the global community must be aware of and civilized in dealing with this situation so that we can enjoy our ability to have a sufficient food supply, jointly address the difficulty we face collectively, and enjoy the goodness and sustainability of the future together. The food crisis is a humanitarian emergency that needs to be addressed as soon as feasible and to the best of our ability. The government and the people should concern about the food scarcity situation. As a result, the food scarcity situation must be addressed collaboratively for the greater good. There are many different approaches we might use to address the growing food issue. If we do not care about this thing will drag on and will cause everyone to suffer from food crisis if no action is taken.